So, very good morning and welcome back up everyone. My name is Akriti and today we are going to solve one question of Q. So, this is our today's question. This is the question number 1700. Number of students unable to eat lunch. Okay. So, in the question it is given that the school cafeteria offers circular and square sandwiches at lunch break and referred to by number 0 and 1. Okay, so they are using 0 for circular sandwich and they are using 1 for square sandwich, and all the students stands in a queue, and each students even either prefer square sandwich or circular sandwich. Okay, so they are saying in a school cafeteria they are offering square and circular sandwiches to students, and students are standing in a queue, and one student can only prefer either one student either prefer a square sandwich or a circular sandwich. He don't like both of them. Okay, so the number of sandwiches in a cafeteria, so they are saying that the number of sandwiches which are available are equal to the number of students there, and the sandwiches are placed in a stack. Okay, so here we can see sandwiches are there placed in a stack and students are standing in a queue. So here are some cases. At each step, if a student at the front of the queue prefer the sandwich on the top of the stack, he'll take it and leave the queue. Otherwise, he'll leave it and go to the back of the queue. Okay. So they are saying if the student who is standing at the front of the queue, if prefer the sandwich at the top of the stack, then he will take the sandwich and leave the queue. Otherwise, if he don't like the sandwich and he prefer any other kind of sandwich, then what he will do, he will just go at the back of the queue and stand again in the queue. Okay, so this will continue until, so how long we are going to continue this? We have to continue this until there is any such sandwich which is not preferred by any of the student standing in a queue. Okay, like there's let's suppose there's a circular sandwich at the top of the stack, and and that particular sandwich is rejected by each and every student which is there in my queue. So we are going to just stop this loop. Okay, so at the end, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to return the number of students who are unable to get any sandwich, because if we have four students remaining in my queue, and no student out of these four like the sandwich at the top of the stack, then I can say these four students are not going to get the lunch. So I'm going to return the number of students which will left in my queue, which in my case is 4. So this is the question. I hope you get the question. Now what they are saying we are given the two integer arrays, students and sandwiches. So in the array students, we have students, we have the we can say choices of sandwich of student, like which student like which sandwich, like the first student which is there in the first index of students array will like circular sandwich, then we will be storing 0. And in the array namely sandwich, they are storing the sandwiches, or we can say the type of the sandwiches. Okay, so there's one more thing they're saying the first is to the first element, or we can say the first sandwich which is there in the sandwiches array will be at the top of my stack, and the first student which is there in the students array will be at the front of my queue. Okay, so this was the entire question. Here some example which you can refer, like here also it is given that this is the student array, this is the sandwiches array, and in this question there is no student who is not going to get the lunch, so we are returning 0. I'll explain you this with by example, and there is one more example given here. This is the number of students array, this is the sandwiches array, and there are 3 students who are not going to get the lunch. Okay, so let us consider this example. Okay, I will be explaining you this example in detail. So this is the students array. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just push all these elements in my queue, where the first element will be at the front of my queue, which is 1. So I will be starting from 1 1 1 0 0 1. Okay, so this is my queue. 1 1 1 0 0 1. So this is my queue. Okay, which is just storing, pardon me for my writing, students choice of sandwich. Okay, in this queue we are storing the choice of students, like which sandwich do they prefer. Now in my stack I'm going to store the sandwiches, and they are saying the first element should be at the top of the stack. So I will be starting pushing from the last element. Okay, so 1 1 0 0 0 1. Okay, this is 1 1 0 0 0 and 1. Okay, so this is how I'm going to tackle my problem. So now, what we have to do, we have to just look at the student which is at the front of the queue, which is my this student. Okay, so now we can see the choice of this student is 1, or simply you can say this student want a square sandwich. Okay, so I will just check if there is any square sandwich at the top of the stack. So here we can see at the top of the stack there is a square sandwich which is represented by 1. So what I'll do, this student will take this sandwich and will leave the queue. So I'm just removing it. So this student took that sandwich and leave the queue. Now again I will check at the front of the queue, which is this. Okay, so this student also want a square sandwich. Now I will check at the top of my stack. So I will when I will go to check at the top of my stack, I'll see there is a circular sandwich at the top of the stack. Okay, this is not a square sandwich. So what I will do, I will just pop this student from the front of the queue. I am just popping this student from the front of the queue, and I will just push it at last. Okay, at the end of the queue. Now again I will do the same process. I will check if the choice matches or not, like 1 is equal to 0. So no, this is not equal to 0. So I will just pop this student from front, and I will just push it at the back. Now again I will match if the choice matches. So yes, this student want the circular sandwich, and at the top of the stack we are having circular sandwich only. So simply I will just simply this student will take the sandwich and leave the queue. So now this is leaving the queue. Again I will match if the choice matches. So yes, this student want the circular sandwich, and there is a circular sandwich at the top of the stack. So this student will take the sandwich and just leave the queue. So he is also leaving the queue. now now I will again check if the choice matches or not. So what was the terminating condition of my loop? The terminating condition of my loop was that if the sandwich which is there at the top of the stack is rejected by the every student present in my queue. Okay, so now we can say we have only three. Sorry, we have only three students in my queue, which are these. Okay, and the sandwich at the top of my stack is a circular sandwich. Okay, so now I can now I will just I will just what I will do, I will ask each and every student who is standing in my queue that whether they like circular sandwich or not. Okay, so here what I'm and I will just for keep tracking. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I have to just check if the student I'm starting, like I have to check if I have asked all the students standing in a queue or not. So here you can see the size of queue right now is 3. Okay, so size of queue right now is 3. So I will just make a variable, let us suppose let's say ask. Okay, So this is my ask variable, and this is keep tracking of how many students I have asked whether he want that particular sandwich or not. So I will be starting from the first student. I will ask if you want that sandwich or not. He's saying no because he want a square sandwich and there is a circular sandwich. So what I'll do, I will just pop my student from here and I will push him at the back of the queue and I will increase my ask by one. Okay, now again I will ask him if he wants. So no, he also don't want. So I'm just popping this student from here. I'm pushing it at the back of the queue and I will increase my ask by one. So now it is two. And again I will ask this student, okay, if you want that particular sandwich or not. So he also don't want that. So again I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to pop it from here. I'm going to push it at the last of the queue and I'm going to increase my ask by one. So once you see, so once the ask is equal to the size of the queue, then we are going to terminate that loop. Okay, we are going to come out of that loop because we are done asking with all the students who are there in my queue that if you want the sandwich or not. And if this particular sandwich which is at the top of my stack is rejected by all the students, then I'm going to stop this procedure. Okay, so this is a terminating condition if my ask is equal to the size of the queue or not. Okay, so once you are done, then you can see we have three sandwiches left and there are three students who didn't get any sandwich. So we are going to return three in this case. Okay, because there are three students who were unable to get lunch. So as you can sorry, as you can see here, answer is three also because there are three students who are unable to get lunch. Okay, so I hope you get the solution well. Now let us code it. So firstly, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just store the number of students, or we can say the number of sandwiches, because here number of sandwiches and number of students are same. So in n variable, I'm going to store the number of students who are there in my queue. So students dot size. This is the number of students. Now I'm going to construct a queue. QUEUE um, for my students queue int q input. Let us call it q. I'm going to create a stack also which is s. Okay, now let us also declare a variable for a loop terminating condition. Let us call done. So this is going to be bool done equal true. Sorry, right now it is false. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to push my sandwiches in my stack and from the last position, because I want that the sandwiches which is at the 0th index in my sandwiches array should be at the top of my stack. So I'm going to push them from the last index. Okay, so for int I equal n minus 1, I should be greater than equal 0 and I plus plus. So here I'm going to push stack dot push my sandwiches sand whiches of I. Okay. Similarly, I'm going to push my students in my queue. Okay. So for I equal 0, I should be less than I plus plus. So queue dot push students. So now we are done with make complete. Now we are done with the stack and skew. Okay. So now I will go with my if not of them. So we are going to run this loop until done become true. Okay. And what we had to do, uh, we were just we have to make a ask variable also. Okay. So here I'm making a ask variable and ask equals 0. Now, so the very base condition, I will check if my queue is empty or not. So if queue is empty, if my queue is empty, then I'm going to return 0, because if my queue become empty, then obviously all the students which were there in my queue got the sandwiches. Okay, so there's no student who is left and who was unable to get the lunch, so we are going to return 0 in this case. Else if I'm going to check if my ask is equal to the size of the queue or not, because if my ask is equal to the size, then we're going to terminate my loop in this case, है ना? So here I'm going to check if my ask is equal to the size or not. If ask equal to the queue dot size, then simply what I'm going to do, I'm just going to return queue dot size again. Just a second. Or you can simply do this, do like this. If my ask is equal to the q dot size, and I'm going to make done equal to, so automatically my loop will terminate. Okay, now else if student at the front of the queue want the particular sandwich which is there at the top of the stack, then what I'm going to do, if q dot front is equal to the s dot top, then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to that particular student will take the sandwich and leave the queue. So I'm going to pop one sandwich, and I'm going to pop one student as well. So as dot pop, and I'm going to pop a student as well. So q dot pop. Okay. And in this case, what I'm going to do, I'm also going to make my ask variable equal 0, because if a particular student left by taking a sandwich, then again I'm going to start my counting from 0 only, because we will be having a new student in my front, in the front of the queue, so we will be starting our counting from 0. Okay, so I will be making my ask variable also 0. Else if the student which is there at the front of the queue don't want that particular sandwich, then what I'm going to do, I'm simply going to push my student at the back of my queue. To queue dot push queue dot front, which was there at the front of the queue, I'm going to push him at the back, and I'm going to pop that particular student from the front. Okay. And in this case, I'm going to increase my ask also, because because there was one student who I have asked that whether he wants that sandwich or not, and if he don't want, then he will move at the end of the queue, and I will increase my ask by 1. Okay, so this was the complete solution. At the end, what I'm going to do, I'm going to return my q dot size, because this will be the number of students who were unable to get the lunch. So in this case, I'm returning q dot size. So let me run this. If there is any error, what is the problem? Okay. Everything was alright. Okay. There is one issue. Here, what I'm doing, I'm just increasing my IT data. Instead, I should decrease it because we are starting from the AND element only. So we should have decreased it. Okay. So let me run this again. So now you can say it is accepted. Okay, so this was the complete solution of my question, and I hope you got the solution well. And if there is any, doubt or queries you are having regarding this question, then you can ask in comment box. Thank you so much.